welcome back. It is Janice or Barb, whatever you prefer to call me. Just do not call me Janice or Barbara. And we are going to get into Love After Lockup. And we finally got a new season, y'all. Season 4, episode 1. Happily Ever After? Question mark. I love this show. I love this show, this series, this everything about it. So I had to come to you all with the review. So here we go with my recap and review for Love After Lockup. So I'm gonna just get into them because they were the first couple that we were introduced to, that we've seen on screen before. Even though we have a whole slew of new couples, Indy and Harry were previously on Love During Lockup. So they're the only couple that's been brought over from the previous series. And we pick up exactly where we left off with her. She's still at her sister's house, her and her daughter waking up, Nakawa, and they go downstairs and blah, blah, blah. And she basically, her sister, she's still at Londa's house, her sister, and she tells her like how she basically has forgiven Harry for the whole cheating stuff or whatever, because she just put it behind her or whatever. And he calls and apologizes and says that he made a mistake, and just like that, she is ready to go pack back up and go back to Ohio. Yeah, just like that. And her sister's like, she doesn't understand her sister's thought process, and neither do we. And she questions her just like we would have, because it's like, okay, so just like that, you're just gonna let him off so easily, and you're only further creating an issue potentially in the future, that he's gonna continue to think that he could just do whatever, you're just gonna take it back and it's gonna be whatever, you're just gonna just run up there after him, even though he's still in the halfway house and you still got no plan, but whatever. So anyway, she wants to be forgiving. It is what it is. Meanwhile, she goes and meets with the family and friends over, I guess, at her mom's house or whatever. And she pulls her one friend to the side and tells her what's up. And she says the same thing as his sister, pretty much. Like, why are you being so forgiving? And why would you think that this is a good decision for you to just go there? And, the whole nine, basically. And I just don't understand, like, how one person could be so delusional. And her friend was right, like, be realistic, because you have someone who's literally watching you make all these poor decisions. But whatever. Miss Yolanda, she shows up in the background, and Indy tells her what her plans are, and she tells her, okay, if that's going to be what it is, that's fine, but we're not supporting it. We don't have your back. I'm not getting in my car and coming up there and rescuing you or going after you or nothing like that. And I'm right with Yolanda on that. I would be calling her out left and right, because you look like an idiot at this point. Like, are you just the dumbass of the family? That's kind of what I'm getting, because all the other siblings, her uncle was there, like, everybody else is seeing this for what it is, but you clearly must be the dummy, because could not be me. So before we even know it, in the middle of the night, this chick done picked up and is literally driving. It's like 9-10 o'clock at night, is driving to go to Ohio, and she got baby girl in the back. And we find out that Harry is being released tomorrow, and that she will be staying at Lydia's house. Lydia, Harry's sister, the one that she met, the first one that she met initially in Love During Lockup. And I'm just like, okay, well, I guess she had to change of heart. Not my business, whatever. Not my house. I don't pay no bills there, so do what you want, sis. But before she could even get to the house, Harry calls her, and he's like, so are you going to be like outside? Are you going to be here, whatever? I'm getting out at 12. And she's like, I thought you were getting out tomorrow morning. And he's like, well, yeah, it's either I can leave at midnight, since that is technically the next day, or I have to wait until 6 a.m. So she's like, okay, I'm going to be there. Okay, cool, whatever. So in the meantime, she heads over to Lydia's house, and she gets in, and she is greeted by Lydia, who has this super cute, like, she looks good with that short hair. I was loving that short hair on her. Not saying that she looked bad before, but, you know, short hair. Because I've been debating on cutting my hair, and I don't know. I'm still on the fence, but we'll see. We'll see, y'all. But anyway, she's telling Lydia this whole thing, and she's still on the fence. I think she's only letting her come in her house off the strength of her brother, because she keeps giving her this advice saying, like, first of all, stop listening to this spiritual advisor, psychic, whatever you want to call it. Stop listening to her. Use your own mind to navigate through this situation. Like, she tells her the ground rules. You're not about to be in here. Like, everybody needs to be looking for jobs, working, whatever. You're not about to be laid up in my house all day or whatever. And I'm just like, so again, you still have no plan. You're about to couch surf on her couch. She's a whole stranger, and I'm just not understanding. But they're cooking or whatever. And also, she cut her hair too. Andy did. She got all those split ends off there, so now she's looking like Dora the Explorer, but at least her hair is healthy. I wish she would, like, figure out what style she wants to wear it in, because it's, like, always poofed up every time we see it, and it drives me crazy. But anyway, and also Lydia with her shortcut, is it just me, or does she look like Demi Lovato? I was getting Demi Lovato vibes. I'm sorry, I don't know. That's just how she was looking to me. But whatever. And we see that the mom and the other sister are about to come over to finish cooking so they can receive a Harry when he gets back. So Indy goes to get Harry. She goes to get Harry, and we see that the mom and the other sister have reached back to Lydia's house, and they're just kind of like basically talking about her. Mind you, this girl asked if her daughter could stay. Like, she asked if Nakoa could stay at Lydia's house, and when I tell you, my like temper shot through the roof at that point, because I'm like, you don't even know these people, like, and that's not no jab against Lydia or them or nothing. I'm not trying to insinuate that, but you don't know. At the end of the day, you don't know these people, and you're just gonna be, oh, I'm just gonna leave her there. Like, what? Like, she's just too comfortable, and it's really weird to me. But whatever. Carla, the other sister, she's so confused. The mom says, like, oh, us Puerto Rican women, we're used to guys, like, chasing us, which I was kind of like, what does Puerto Rican have to do with it? Like, but whatever. Okay, whatever. Just, I'm not even going to get into all that, but whatever. So 12 a.m. comes around. She's out there waiting for him. He runs out. They embrace her, whatever. He shouts out the homies up in the window. Tells them, like, he'll see them soon. I was kind of like, okay, whatever, I'm gonna leave that there. And they ride off. So that was it for them. Next couple we had is Taylor and Chance. She's from Missouri. I forgot how old she is. I think she's 26 and he's 40. She's gonna piss me off. She is very simple. I feel like she's very, very simple. Just the way or maybe that's just how she talks. I don't know, but she just seems so simple. And she's the payroll clerk. He's in there for robbery. He's got sentenced to 8 years for burglary and grand theft or whatever. They've been dating for 1 year, and like I said, she just seems so simple the way she was talking. And she also has a twin sister who is living with her as well, who's also had some issues with the law before, and she found herself incarcerated before. So she, of course, is skeptical about this man, which I would be too, because before we know it, oh, also she has 3 daughters. She has an 8-year-old, like an 8-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 4-year-old, I think is what I wrote down. And I'm just like, what a great example you're setting for them. Yes. But the youngest, her oldest two's dad, I think that, like, they were in a very serious relationship, like, and he unfortunately passed away after being in a really bad accident a couple years ago, back in 2015, I believe. and her youngest dad is in her life. He picks her up on the weekends, but they don't really like communicate outside of that. And I'm just like, okay, I understand that. So of course she's looking for a father figure for her kids, and I'm just like, wrong. Why do you guys keep getting your kids involved in y'all's antics? I will never understand that. Like, just so trash to me, but whatever. And later on in the episode, he calls, and I couldn't help but her mattress, it was on the floor. Anyway, stop it, Johnny, stop it. But he calls, and we find out that he's trying to put her sister in the garage, and I'm just like, no, like, you don't pay no bills over here, you don't do nothing over here, so why are you trying to come in there? Because, oh, she could, you know, being that she has a record, that could mess up his probation or whatever. And I'm just like, who are you to come in here and request any type of changes or try to put anybody out of the space that has already been proclaimed as theirs, sir? Someone please tell me that. But like I said, she's just simple. Moving on, Lacey and Antoine. She's from Washington, and what was she freaking like? I forget their ages. I'll let you guys know next week, but I think she's older and he's younger, I believe. And yeah. He's 26 and she's 39, I think. And they met through his mom. Him and his mom have a very close relationship. But Lacey, on the other hand, she's divorced. She was like a late bloomer, but she was with her ex-husband for 20 years or whatever. And she actually filed for divorce once her and Antoine started talking or whatever, got serious. And I'm just like, my thing is, y'all, and I'm never saying if something's not working, don't stay in it. That's totally, I'm all for that, but don't ever divorce or end a relationship or whatever just solely based off of another person or whatever, or leave that person for another person. Because a lot of times, just my own, knowledge and from my own research, usually, one, how you get them is how you lose them, and two, like, those things don't always work out how you think they're going to be. The grass is not always greener, is all I'm saying. So make sure you're leaving for your own reasons, not off the strength of somebody else if you're going to end a relationship or a marriage. That's all I'm going to say about that. But he's going to stay with her after he gets out, and I'm just like, okay, whatever. But we find out also that his mom has like a bit of a little drinking problem right now, and because of that, Lacey has distanced herself from his mother. Also, I think even though she introduced them, maybe she didn't think that they were going to hit it off as well as they did. So she's kind of like, I guess maybe feeling some way. I don't know. I'm sure we'll get some scenes with her and see how that whole dynamic is or whatever. But meanwhile, we see later on in the episode, Lacey, she's out exercising, whatever, getting her walk on. And he calls her from the hole, which apparently he spent a lot of his time, for the past 3 years, whatever, he spent the majority of that time in the hole by himself, in isolation, whatever, 23 hours out the day, locked up, whatever, in a room that's so small. And I'm just like, okay, if you're only days from getting away and you're still like doing things that are gonna land you in the hole, I'm sorry, but something tells me that you have not learned the lessons that you should be learning in order to function back in society and not land your ass back up in there. That's what that tells me. Because by now, it's been 3 years, you should have your, like, all your stuff should be together. Like, you shouldn't be landing yourself. You should be like 180, but whatever. And of course he's talking about smoking weed, getting pussy. Like, what? Like, why is that your first thing? You should be worried about getting a job, maybe getting a place of your own, like staying out of trouble, maybe, like, kind of, sort of, but whatever. And he asks, has she been speaking to his mom? And that's when things got a little weird-ish. And she says, just like how I said before, his mom's name is Christy, that she began to distance herself, or she don't really want no parts of that when his mom has been drinking. She does want to be cordial, however, and I'm just like, okay, we'll see how that goes. Lacey just don't seem like she'd be for, going on, like, she's ready to go on a ride with him, a roller coaster ride with him, but she not with going down the rabbit hole with his mom. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And before we know it, she goes inside and proceeds to write a fake letter addressed to him. Apparently she likes to catfish him to see if he, to see where his mind's at and if he's gonna, take the bait. And I'm just like, see, bye. Moving on, Kevin and Tiffany. Kevin is 38, Tiffany is 32. He's in Texas, and he's a truck driver. And she is currently serving 5 years for possession of a controlled substance, I'm assuming. And we see him first on a friend date or whatever with his tall friend. I don't know how tall he is, but I was like, either she real tall or you're real short, or it's both. I don't know. And we find out that he's kind of like, he don't seem like he should. Like, I'm sorry to say it. I hate to say that, but he don't seem like he should. Like, and what did he say? Something about, they met on Facebook, but he made it clear to say that he's not ready for kids though. And I'm just like, only for us to find out later on in the episode that he has an 18-year-old son. So I'm just like, what do you mean you're not ready for kids? You're not ready to start over, like hands-on, like, super involved parenting to like, 24-hour parenting to like not saying that you're not a parent for 24 hours a day if your kids are older, but just caring for a child 24 hours a day. Is that what you're saying? Because, okay, I understand that. But if you're talking about you're not ready to be a parent at all, like, okay, so what have you been doing with your son for the past 18 years? Like, whatever. I don't even care. We also find out that he has this ex that's been wreaking havoc through his life. And all I can think of is there's a reason why she's doing that. Like, she feels comfortable to do. Some people are just crazy, but I'm like, if she feels as comfortable to act this way with you, it's probably because you bigged her head up to think something, and you shouldn't have did that, because now you're regretting it. So I don't care. Not my problem. But anyway, only reason why I bring her up is because his phone's literally going off at the table, because she just has this habit of blowing him up constantly. And I'm like, oh, okay. And of course, Kayla she knows nothing about Tiffany, because even though he's on national TV, so of course she's gonna, if she don't know by now, she damn sure will soon. Which I'm just saying that because later on we see her throughout the season, so of course this is going to become a big triangle mess, I'm sure. And we also find out that she like keyed somebody who he was talking to before. She keyed the girl's car over him and just all types of stuff. And I'm just like, oh Jesus, you sure know how to pick them. But Tiffany, of course, she has to go back halfway house upon her release, and his son calls him out for basically being a gigolo. And I'm just like, he would know best. And the whole time he's getting things together and talking to his son, Kayla is steady calling this man. And I'm just like, well, this I'm sure I'm sorry, but I feel like you have something to do with this. I'm sorry, it just seems like it's your fault. And as he's sitting down to take the confessional, she literally bangs on his door, rolled up in her tri-colored Chevy, I think it was a Chevy Cruze. And I'm just like, with her child, I'm pretty sure, hanging out the passenger side, seeing his mother act a whole damn fool. And I'm like, mind blown at this point. Mine is blown, because ain't no way I'm be doing that, period, regardless. And I'm damn sure not gonna be acting like that in front of my child. So clearly we see where her head is at. And she's out there just literally just wilding, like just wilding. I don't know what is up with her, but he's got a lot on his hands, and I'm sorry, but I don't feel bad. Next couple we get is Rick and Radine. Rick is 49 and Radine is 29. They first initially started dating when she was 18, like 10 years ago, and he was 40. I'm gonna just let that marinate. One. And he's from Texas, and he's a teleservice operations manager. And she is currently serving 5 years for evading arrest and possession of narcotics or whatever. And it's 2 days until she's released. But the part that just like grossed me out about him is, one, the fact that he felt the need to tell us that he slept with over 300 women. And I was kind of like, do I believe that or do I not? Do I believe that or do I not? Like, okay, what do you mean? Like, what? Anyway, and then he also proceeds to jump up and show, well, we didn't see, obviously, his bird out, his penis. And I'm like, we did not ask to see that. We didn't want to see that. Never show me that again, sir. Ever again. Back then when they were speaking or whatever, everything was cool until she just vanished one day, and then we find out she's incarcerated. And he says that she's experienced a lot of loss, and I'm of course always, my heart goes out to her for that. But we also find out that he has struggled with his own addiction in the past, his own heroin addiction. I think he was doing things when he doing drugs or whatever when he was like 12 to like 18 or 19, but he's been clean ever since, he says. So he's down meeting with his friends, and they're showing concern because they don't want him to relapse or, get in any trouble on behalf of her. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Like, I'm not saying it doesn't, but he's got to want better for himself as a man, and he's got to have the mental fortitude to be able to not to recognize these red flags and then go the other way, because you cannot want better for somebody than they want for themselves, is what it comes down to. And the final couple we got, you guys, is Kayla and Martell. She's 33, he's 37, and they have been talking in a relationship, whatever you want to call it, for 13 years. Yes, you heard me right. 13 years, honey. And she's in tech support, and he is currently incarcerated for drugs and gun trafficking for 13 years or whatever. So literally, they've been dealing with each other the entire time he's been locked up. Like, they really didn't have much of any relationship outside of that. And his only request was that she doesn't sleep with anyone throughout the duration of him being locked up. And when the producers or whatnot asked her, like, when's the last time she had sex, she avoided the question. So that should be all of the answer that we need. Not that I'm not judging her or faulting her at all. Like, I'm totally in support, honestly, because that's, you basically ask this woman to just basically pump the brakes on her entire life and wait for you because you decided to make mistakes and poor decisions. No. And again, it's not me preaching marriage or anything like that, but it's also like, okay, it's not like you guys, like, what did you prove to her prior to going in there that she was like, would feel confident, like, okay, this is definitely something that's worth waiting for. I'm, whatever. And she's packing or whatever. And was it her friend or her brother that comes over? The last time she's seen him was in 2018. He's locked up in Mississippi, and she recently moved from Pennsylvania to, where are they? Atlanta? Georgia, I think. I'm pretty sure that's where they are. And she's also the youngest of 13. I was like, wow, that's a big family. And all we really found out about her, like, the kicker for me was her literally showing that she wants this ring that is costing between $32,000 and $40,000. And I was like, ma'am, what money do you think that, unless he has some money stashed away or something, what money do you think he has that he's going to give you this ring? Like, and honestly, even if he did have that money, I personally, just me being me, would not even want him to give me a ring or whatever. I would want him to use that to better his life, to get that amount times like quadruple. Like, I wouldn't even want that, because he should be putting that energy and stuff into himself and reacclimating into society, not into a rock on your finger that you could, honestly, y'all, like, everyone has their own preferences, and I mean, that's fine, but a $2,500 ring, $3,000, like, is not a bad looking ring. Like, it's not. You can find some nice rings for that amount. But like I said, his priority should be on other things, and you should understand why. But that was all for the most part, you guys. That was all that this episode gave. And I am excited to see what is gonna go down with these couples, y'all. I'm excited. I seen the highlights and everything. And I think we got some interesting stories on our hands, y'all. So please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. And I will be back with episode 2 of Love After Lockup on, let's say, probably Saturday of this week. Yeah, Saturday. So thanks for watching, you guys. Bye.